You know that we are almost 35 years old, or are 35 years old, and it seemed like a good idea at the time, right? We got together, a bunch of us, and I know your question was, why did you come to, or why did you join or start Regina Women's Network? What began things? And it was one of those things that seemed like a good idea at the time, because I heard this morning when you were talking about what you do, almost everyone here has their own thing. They're not working for, well, with some very good exceptions, not working for someone else, but they have something that they are doing that is theirs. And at that time, if you had gone around the room and said, okay, what are you doing? We have the secretary of this, and we had the assistant manager of that, and we had the something else. Everybody was part of something else. And we had, I guess at that time, difficulty being taken seriously. Some of us got to be taken seriously faster than others with more result. And some of us went far abroad, far afield to become women on our own right, and then brought it back to the rest of us here. And so that's sort of how the thing began.
The girls started RWN. They started out as the lunch bunch. And I'll tell you how bad they were. I had a sales lady. She wanted to take a man out for lunch. And he said, I'll go with you anywhere that the lunch bunch aren't. And that was these girls.
Oh, you're so bad. A woman named Eleanor Klein was the incentive for starting Women's Network. She was in the States somewhere, and she came back, and we had a little gathering at Margie Rawlinson's house one afternoon, I think of 6 or 7 of us, and she told us about women's networks in the United States and how exciting it was, and that this is something that we might be able to do. And we started really slowly. We thought, okay, we'll get all this put together and we'll figure out where we're going, and we won't let anybody know until we're ready to move. Well, before the year was out, we couldn't contain it anymore. We had 100 members. Before we turned around, we had 100 members because women wanted a voice in the community. And we wanted to speak out. But the most fun was the mixers. To me, it's always been, I used to drive after a horrendous day at work at the university. I'd be driving down to the Assiniboia Club, and I'd be, oh God, I have my period, I want to talk to somebody. It was just such a relief to walk into that room full of women and feel understood. I think you probably still have that. I hope you still have that.
After all this time later, I think they have.
Even though I don't have my period anymore.
As a kindergarten teacher, I had confidence behind the door when it was closed with my 59 little ones, but coming out with women who intimidated me. Whoa. So I was sitting at a table with some really fabulous, awesome women, and I wanted to get to know them. And my girlfriend, who it was her table, never introduced me to anyone. And so my confidence was not there to be able to say, tell me about yourself. Who are you? What's your business? I just sat there. And I realized once I was able to become a part of this group, I wanted to be the one to be able to say, who are you? I wanted to get to know you, because I so wanted that woman to be able to do that with me that day, and it didn't happen. So it was a good learning experience for me. So I hope no one ever feels when you come into this room that you're not welcome. We are welcoming. We may be off chatting with somebody else, but come and interrupt us, because we want to know who you are, and to help you put the wind beneath your wings, to become who you really authentically are.
And I wish you would pay attention to that, because I think you should have a bigger role in civic affairs. I mean, that's what networking is about, as well as networking among ourselves. It's networking out there, getting some different opinions out on the street.
Regina Women's Network is an organization established to provide a forum for women to expand their friendships, their experience, their economic options, and their self-esteem. And that would, I think, still be a legitimate way to describe Regina Women's Network.